Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.
The Rocket Review is catching up with singer, songwriter, and entertainer Kelly Lang with a brand new album out today, Old Soul. Thanks for coming on the show, Kelly.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're having me here today. This is exciting for me. Thank you.
Well, you've been on the show before, and it's always great keeping up with you and your music and everything, and also, the tours and everything that you and TG do, including at Graceland.
Yes, that's always fun. I love playing Graceland.
Well, I got to talk about this new album to where, the video released a while back on Country Rebel for Drive, and I know it's been getting a lot of play and a lot of attention. In fact, I think Sir Barry Gibb has raved about it, and Olivia Newton-John raved about your Drive song and your album. Tell me about it.
Well, this album, the last album that I did was named Obsession, and I wrote every single song on there, and it stressed me out so much, being that it's such a personal thing that you reflect on. This album, I just wanted to enjoy it. I wanted to have fun and record songs that bring me happiness and brought me back to a fun and safer time than we're living in now. So I figured if I was enjoying these songs and recording them, maybe the fans would enjoy this type of music and a new twist on the old classics, So Every Breath You Take and Drive and Can't Take My Eyes Off of You. These are all songs we hear in the grocery store still, So they bring me back to a time when I just go, oh, wow, I remember that date. I remember that, So I'm finding that when people are listening to these, they're also going back when I was, 16, I heard that. And it's fun to reminisce. And, Eric, I don't even intend to try to improve upon the originals, but I'm just honoring them and I'm having a great time doing it.
Well, and listen to the songs that you chose, which I love them all. And like you said, a lot of them I can remember moments in time, with all these different songs you chose, where I was at and what was going on at that time. But I think you bring your own flavor to them also, Kelly, just like on Drive, to where, you're not trying to sound like the Cars. You're sounding like you, and you're bringing that flavor to it.
One of my favorite things to do is record a song that a man has recorded before. And when a woman records it, it brings a different essence to it, I believe. It has a different meaning sometimes. Like the song Drive, I mean, if I'm going to say who's going to drive you home, like, I'm not picking you up, It's a different flavor when a woman is, performing a man's original song. So,
and I think that's so true. Listen to the whole album, hearing more of the feminine perspective. I know I have a different take of it, just like on your take on Easy, and so many songs on here that I just love. I'm like going, okay, well, you kind of hear it differently.
Yeah, you do. You do. Like, I'm going to be doing that song on a live version coming up pretty soon. So I'm really excited to share that with you guys. And I just think that song just makes me calm. As a matter of fact, all of these songs on this album, if you were to start from first to the end of it, the consensus of people that have heard it, it's like kind of like a hug. You put it on in the background, you're familiar with all the songs, nothing is real jarring, it's just songs that you just kind of go, oh yeah, it's dinner music kind of thing. So.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too, that some people may not realize, because you're so well known for your great songwriting also, with having songs recorded by Ricky Skaggs, George Jones, all these people over the years. But, also you entertain. And as you and I both know, people want to hear some songs, not only from your new album and new catalog, but like this, ones they recognize and kind of sing along with.
Oh, it's more fun because the pressure's off of you. You're not being judged as a writer. And although I love to write, don't get me wrong, but this has just been like such a pleasure. It's when you go to perform something like this. Of course, the pandemic has changed some things around, but I've been able to perform these. It's like I don't have to worry about if the song's already embraced or not. I just have to worry if I miss the notes.
You never miss a note, but it's so fun, whenever I talk to somebody like Lori Morgan, and she always brings you up also, because I know you guys are songwriting buddies as well.
That's sweet. Thank you. Yeah, I haven't seen her in a little while. She's been living in Florida, and she's doing a restaurant down there, and more power to her. I couldn't do that. I am not a cook.
Well, I got to ask you this. What was it like, sharing the stage, doing Islands in the Stream for Kenny Rogers. I saw that. It's like, that was some powerful stuff, but it's like, you're hopping into big shoes there.
It's really funny. I was naive to think, oh, I'm just going to go sing with Barry. I've done that a couple of times, and that's intimidating enough, Right. But when you walk out on the stage and you're like, oh my gosh, there's Kenny, and there's Bobby Bear, and there's Garth Brooks, and there's Barbara Mendel. I literally thought I was going to die of a heart attack. And I realized later that Barry was more nervous than me, because he feels like he's a rock person, and he was worried that he wouldn't be embraced by country.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious to me. And I was nervous because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm singing with you. It was crazy. But if we all just realize that we're all just people.
Right.
We all have people that we admire. It really is a little bit more exciting when you're performing with people that you do look up to.
Well, and also that you're friends with. I got to bring this up too. Wasn't there a re-release of your children's deal a few months ago?
Yes, I wrote this album for my daughter Peyton, who is now turning 29, when she was 4. So, that's a long, long time ago. And I wrote it basically for her as a gift. And it eventually joined the forces into Cracker Barrel. So I'm very proud of that. It was short-lived there because they didn't have a full children's section that they were promoting there for a while. So honestly, I just lost steam. I thought, whatever. And then, you dig in a little deeper, and then you've got these abilities to do things downloadable.
Right.
I hadn't even thought about that. And this pandemic has really brought me to look at things a little differently and think, what can I do to bring happiness to people at this time? Yeah. The children are home bored and they're needing something new to learn. So I thought this is maybe a good thing to release now. And it has done really well.
Now, is that available on your website also, Kelly?
It is. Yeah. KellyLang.net. Yes.
Okay. Well, and Peyton also helps me with my clothing suggestions, as I told you.
Peyton is a rock star herself.
Well, some of our viewers may not realize this too, Kelly, but it's like you grew up in country music, thanks in part a lot to your dad as he was managing Conway Twitty. So it's like, so you've been around this like all your life.
I have. And, I was telling someone in an interview the other day, I didn't think it was anything unusual that my dad worked for Conway, or that Loretta would call, or George Jones would call. I would just go, yeah, let me get him. I on the phone, let me get my dad. I didn't think anything weird about that. And of course, you grow up and you go, your dad didn't work for a superstar, So
right.
I captured that feeling, and I unfortunately took it for granted growing up. I captured that feeling within the song Goodbye Darling that I wrote for Conway, and gave that to his kids as a gift. And it ended up being, quite a pivotal record for me. So that was nice.
Well, and I got to bring this up too, because, I remember your Star Search days, a couple of years ago when you were on Star Search and, won 3 times, but also, at the tender age of 15, you had a song on Billboard that then CMT came to you and said, hey, can we have a video for this with Lady Lady?
They paid for it. Isn't that They were looking for content. They were new. They were brand new, and they were looking for content. And they were like, your song is climbing the charts, and let us help you put this together. And I'm like, okay. I didn't know what CMT was really going to be. Who knew? That's
right.
Like, when we all start something new, like a podcast or something, you didn't know Rock and Review was going to take off like it did when you started, right? So see, there you go. I was in the beginning stages of that, and yeah, it was amazing.
Well, but I think it's so interesting. You were at the forefront of CMT. You look at what CMT is now, and it's like you were there in the beginning of it. But you guys have always been cutting edge. You and TG, your husband, TG Shepherd, to where just like with your TV show that you guys have done together, which I hope that comes back in again. We've talked about that, but I thought it was so much fun to where you had friends over for dinner and got to talk about music. And John Rich and all these people that just come to your house and hang out.
Well, I was always thinking, what if I could just be a fly on the wall? If I was a country fan, this might be fun. Like for my birthday party a couple of years ago, we had I was just thinking just a few people over for dinner. It turned out that like Jimmy Fortune sang the song Elizabeth to me, and Paul Schaefer showed up, and I mean, just I'm not meaning to name drop. It's just I started thinking, wow, I love these people, and I know they all have fan bases. It might be nice to all sit them down collectively and have dinner with them and let people be a voyeuristic kind of thing at our dinner table, because that's really what goes on. We sit and talk and end up singing inevitably.
Well, and also that's the circle that you and TG move within, from entertaining and writing songs and everything else. I got to know, during this time, Kelly, have you been doing any great paintings or anything? Because some of our viewers may not know that your paintings are hanging in some pretty big people's houses, such as Oprah Winfrey and others that own your paintings.
Well, thank you for saying that. I don't consider myself much of an oil painter. I just kind of did it as a hobby for a while, but then I ended up, making a great income with it. Eric, it's really funny. I have to be compartmentalized. I get a little too overwhelmed if I do too much. If I'm writing, I don't really paint. If I'm painting, I don't really write. I'm really focusing on this particular album right now, so I haven't really had time to really split my creativity. I did paint a big, huge crystallized tree. It's really big, for a friend of mine for her birthday back in March. But it just, I think I like to paint in the wintertime more. If I'm in the summertime, I'm in the pool. So
yeah, just like your album cover from Obsession.
Yeah, that was my pool.
It's so much fun though, keeping up with you and everything that you've got going. And I also love it that we're interviewing you in your closet with Elizabeth Taylor over your shoulder. I
know, right? A friend of mine gave that to me. She says I look like Elizabeth, and so I go, oh, thank you. Well, all right. I wish I had her jewelry. That'd be nice.
Oh my gosh. Well, I got to bring this up with the brand new album rolling out today, and obviously Drive already came out. Are you going to have more singles and more videos coming out?
As a matter of fact, Every Breath You Take is our newest single, and every month or so, we're going to be featuring another song from the album. So, but the album itself, is releasing today, September the 18th. So I'm really excited about that. And you'll be seeing different videos coming out. As a matter of fact, one that I'm really excited about coming out, TG and I went in and recorded the old song, Quando, Quando, Quando.
Uh-huh.
So we dug into some archives of pictures when we first met, when I was 14, I guess 13 or 14.
Right.
And on up to, I would open shows for him and Mickey Gilley and things like that. So I have pictures of us when we first started getting to know each other as friends. I mean, I was a kid, never thought of him as a romantic partner in any way. And then fast forwarding to our wedding and some trips that we've taken. And it's a really, it's going to be really sappy. People are not going to want to watch the whole thing. But it's nice for us to leave to the kids afterwards. So.
Well, and I got to say, too, this past August, you had an anniversary, you and TG. So happy anniversary, belated.
Thank you. We celebrated our marriage of 13 years, but this December is when we're really going to celebrate. We'll have been married or been together 20 years December.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what's a great idea, too? When you've got a new album with all these songs and you're doing videos, what'd be great is to see you like singing them in the living room again with your guitar. Just an idea.
I know. You keep wanting me to go back and do that. I did that for, I think, 2.5 years. And although I loved the Throwback Thursdays and they were fun, I just felt like I'd run out of steam, with that. So, and these new songs that I've done on this old soul collection are so intricate, I can't play them. I couldn't even begin to, and besides that, my nails are too long.
Oh, where there's a will, there's a way. You could do one a month.
There you go. I'll look into that, Eric.
You got so much going on, Kelly. Well, I want to make sure that our viewers know the best place to go to your website, all the great stuff you're doing on social media and everything else. Where can they find Kelly Lang?
If you'll please go to my website at kellylang.net. And if you can, I am constantly on socials, Instagram, Facebook. I even joined TikTok. Peyton, they joined TikTok. I haven't done any of the crazy dances yet, but you never know. But, and I'm on Twitter. I'm not as much on Twitter as I am the others, but Facebook is my thing.
Well, I'll tell you what, I love the song choices for this brand new album, Old Soul, out today. Kelly Lang, thank you so much for joining the Rock and Review and talking with us about it.
Thank you so much, Eric. Thanks for your constant support.
Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.